going to jot down notes and I'll turn the minutes in tomorrow. Patrick, do we have any public joining us?
Nope, there are no attendees right now.
Okay. Is there, I'll double check. Any public comment? Okay. One action item for tonight's meeting is to review the statement regarding racial equity and to put that out. So I think Rob will share his screen and everybody can have a few minutes to look at it and digest it.
Give me a second to figure this out. I haven't done this before, so. 1 second.
And Rob, we'll make sure that you have permission too. So you should see something down at the bottom that gives you an option to share screen. If you're not seeing that, let me know. I may need to change the permissions somewhere.
All right, just give me 30 seconds, please. Thank you. I still have a flip phone, so technology is not something that is first and forefront. Sorry, I should have pulled up. Okay, back to here. Appreciate everyone's patience. Host. It says host disabled participant screen sharing. Doesn't look like I can do it. I guess now I'm a host.
Try it now. I just made you host. That should give you the permission. And you have all the other authorities as host.
Okay. I just need to make sure that I've got the right one here.
Here it comes. Yay.
Okay. Just let me know when I need to scroll up, I guess. I can't see everyone, so I'm not sure when that is.
Rob, I think you could scroll down a bit.
If it's appropriate, I move to adopt this letter.
Is that Dave?
Yes.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? Dave?
So I wholeheartedly support it. I'm going to vote for it. I just want to point out that the phrase, let me see if I can read it here. We vow to work harder to find ways to improve. That's a means statement, just so you know.
Sarah?
Yeah, I see that this is an action statement, and I don't know how it works with this issue in particular. I'm assuming that we can just vote and whether or not it should pass. But I did a little bit of research today, and I saw that the Winooski School Board issued a statement on June 3rd in response to George Floyd's murder. And at the end of the statement, it listed the members who supported the statement. And so given that this is a board statement and that all board members may not vote to approve it, we'll see how the vote goes. That is an option that can be open to us, I think. I guess I'm raising the question of whether or not we could do that.
What we've done in the past is if everyone says yes, we say unanimously approved by,
Okay.
but I don't know if that's the case. So you can do that also if it's unanimously approved by.
This may be where it's a good time to remember that technically the board only has one voice.
Right. So regardless of if you support it or not, when the board takes an action that a majority approves, you are obligated to speak to the process of getting to that decision, whether you agree with it or not.
Thank you for that clarification. That helps.
Kevin?
I still struggle with, I see the Black Lives Matter still in here, and obviously that's not going to go away. And I've iterated what my concern about that is, but I also struggle with the previous sentence that says, onto the pathway of the right side of history, supporting the basic truths behind this simple statement. And that is, to me, that's insightful, and it's not factual.
Would your recommendation, Kevin, be to omit that sentence altogether, or can you offer an alternative?
Well, I guess since I'm struggling with it, I'm suggesting it shouldn't be there. Now, the first part of this sentence is fine. As a board, we hear you and we vow to help lead the MAUS community. And I don't know if you want to say something to the future or whatever, but to the pathway of the right side of history is, like I said, it's very subjective and it's almost insightful.
Kevin, I hope I'm not overstepping here by stepping in, but if it read, I'm not saying that this is an amendment that people would vote for, but just for the sake of ideas, if we were to say, as a board, we hear you and we vow to help lead the MAUSD community and support the basic truths behind this simple statement. Something more just.
The simple statement being this, yeah, okay, I understand. That makes sense. Or maybe statement, I don't know if it's simple, you know? Should I make a motion then?
To amend?
Yeah.
Sure, if you want. And just tell me what the amendment is so I get it in the minutes correctly.
So I would make a motion to amend the document to drop out onto the pathway of the right side of history in supporting the basic truths behind this simple. Does that now make sense?
Can you read the sentence as you think it should be?
Hold on. So how did you say that, Sarah? It was like MAUSD community onto the pathway of this statement?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think it was correct English, but just to repeat how I had just piecemealed it together was, as a board, we hear you and we vow to help lead the MAUSD community
In supporting.
in supporting the basic truths behind the simple statement, Black Lives, and then, yeah, that was that sentence leading on to the next, Black Lives Matter.
Could we say we hear you and we see you?
Well, we got to figure out if we've got Kevin's amendment before we go.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So did that capture it, Kevin? As a board, we hear you and we vow to help lead the MAUSD community in supporting the basic truths
Behind this
Yeah.
state?
behind this statement.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Is there a second to the amendment?
I'll second it.
Krista?
Mhm.
Any discussion about that change? Gotta look to see everybody. If somebody is seeing somebody with their hand up and I'm not getting to them, would you tell me? Because I have to scroll through my screens to find everybody.
Sarah has her hand up.
Sarah?
Yeah, I think the amendment works. I just want to, I didn't write the sentence, but the meaning that I got from the word simple in front of the word statement is trying to remove some of the stigma that has been characterized from the Black Lives Matter organization, the way that it's perceived in some circles. And so in saying the simple statement, it's saying we are simply stating these three words, that Black Lives Matter. And so in a way that's kind of removing our association to any of the murky waters in which the Black Lives Matter movement could be perceived in other arenas. That was my perception of how the value of the word simple in front of statement. But I agree, I also understand that it's possibly not so simple.
Krista.
Krista?
Thanks. I think if that's what we're trying to say is specific to the three words Black Lives Matter, we should maybe have a colon after statement, because I don't think it's clear that that's what this is referring to. And I'm wondering if Kevin was it sounded to me like Kevin was referring to statement as in this statement preceding, not Black Lives Matter. So if we're summing up this statement by saying, or summing up this this whole piece by saying quite simply Black Lives Matter, I think a colon would make that more clear. So yeah. Which I agree with doing.
I'm going to go back to you, Kevin. How do you feel about that?
Okay, so I guess I'm okay with adding back simple regarding Sarah's explanation, colon, Black Lives Matter.
Krista, are you all right with that since you seconded that amendment? Just double checking.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let me go back through you all and see if anybody else has. I'm not seeing any other, so we'll vote on the amendment. The amendment was to drop off that portion of that sentence and add, so it would now read, as a board, we hear you and we vow to help lead the MAUSD community in supporting the basic truths behind this simple statement, Black Lives Matter. All those in favor of that amendment, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right, so now we go back now to the statement with the changes that we just made. Are there any more discussion on that?
I just have a question in the next to last paragraph. I think it's the third sentence. It says, furthermore, in a school district and state that is overwhelming white. Should that be overwhelmingly?
I think it's supposed to be, yes.
I don't know if a slight correction like that needs anything more.
I don't think so. I think if Rob can just make it in the copy before it gets, Rob's giving it, that's, before we, once we adopt or take action and then it goes out, it'll just be corrected. Rob gave the thumbs up. I don't see anyone else. Oh, Kevin.
So Dave, you had mentioned that we vow to work harder was a mean statement. Do you want to, you want to just accept that as it faces, or is there something that works better for you?
I like it. I think we ought to be more involved in the means part of how our children get educated. So I like that it's in there. I support it. And what I think needs to change is some of the ways that we work with the policy aspects of our job.
Sorry, it's taking me long to scroll through and see if anybody else. Patrick.
Yeah, I was wondering about that comment as well, and it's interesting because I think Dave, even in your comment, you mentioned desiring to be more involved in the means, but then spoke to working at a policy level, which really is different than means, though related. And that was the piece I was curious about. Like, as I was reading through this from a board action perspective, it really, to me, I think speaks to policies more so than really getting down into the weeds of means, which is what made me feel comfortable with it. I think if the board's going beyond that and directing what people are teaching in terms of the curriculum, et cetera, then we start going down a path that moves away from policy governance, which maybe is okay. But I think it's important to remember that as boards get involved in means, their ability to hold a superintendent accountable to the ends is impacted by that. So there's a line there somewhere, and I think the policy level is the appropriate place, and I think there's plenty of work to do at a policy level. But I think it's important to just be clear about that sort of policy versus what I see as different being means. Board means, if we think about that board accelerator training versus sort of administrative means.
So I reiterate that I fully support this letter. I think the discussion that you bring up, Patrick, is appropriate for a different time and place. Right now, we're dealing with this very important document, and I support it as it currently stands.
Anyone else? All right.
I think it's important for MAUSD to be a safe space. And in the years that my kids have been here, I've heard, things that made kids of color or LGBTQ kids uncomfortable and that were harassing statements. So I would hope that the teachings on, I had a long day at work today. The teachings about equity and fairness will continue, and that students who don't understand that and when possible, there will be, discipline as necessary, but also education about equity and tolerance and making schools and workplaces, because that's what we're heading kids out to, safe.
Okay. All right. So all those in favor of supporting the board statement regarding racial equity as we amended it, and then that one correction of that word, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right. Is there any public comment at this time? I can't see if there is any public.
Need Rob to stop sharing his screen.
Oh, there we go.
There aren't any attendees.
Okay. All right. We don't need to do an meeting evaluation for this. So if there's a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Sarah McLean. Is there a
I
second?
second Andrew.
All right. All those in favor of adjourning at 6:55, please say aye.
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 Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Thank you, Rob, for all your work with this. Really appreciate it. And
Community
Dawn.
engage-
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Thank you. There's a community engagement meeting in 5 minutes.
Come one, come all.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.